Hi, I am Michaela, and I am a 31-year-old woman who is working on becoming the first transgender person to sail around the world. So welcome to the beginning of this series. I felt like today was a good day to start it. I just launched the boat yesterday after a ridiculously fast 48 hours out of the water, which I was not able to film like any of. If you want to see a teeny tiny like 30 seconds of it, Instagram's always a great place to find those. But because it was so fast, I did not film for this, but this feels momentous. I am currently sailing out of what has been my home for the last 3.5 years of the San Juan Islands. I've lived on a couple different islands here, well, in bays adjacent to a couple different islands, but we're finally hanging out. We're going to the mainland, and we're gonna provision this boat for about 8 months. And the reason that we're starting with that is a lot of places I'm going, shelf-stable food is going to be expensive. And so as much shelf-stable food as I can shove in the hulls, in the hold, the better. So please come along on this journey. Subscribe if you aren't already. This is gonna be an incredible journey and groundbreaking for a lot of people, both in the US and beyond. I'm super stoked. We have a beautiful day to start this sail. And look at this, it's gorgeous. Which may be a good opportunity to introduce you to the boat that I will be sailing around the world on. This is Swirl. She's the same boat that's on the rest of this channel, but I am going to assume that a lot of people won't go back and rewatch those videos. She is a 1977 San Juan 30 race boat. And she's part of an entire class of boats, the San Juans, and none of them have ever circumnavigated before. And there's maybe a reason for that. However, I have done a lot of custom refitting on this boat. The entire interior is all my own design. It has a hard dodger. It has a custom rigging plan. I call it a cutter rig. It's, you know, it's a sloop cutter rig, so it's a slutter. But when I had sails recut for the boat, we cut them with the intention of using essentially the J1 and J2 positions, the head stay and the inner forestay, as congruent sails, as opposed to individual sails. Therefore, leaning more towards a cutter rig than it is a sloop, or a slutter. However, I didn't move the mast aft, so it's still, the mast is still in a sloop position. Gave me a lot more opportunities to move sails around. Had all new sails cut for this boat. Was able to custom design how I wanted to be able to use them. I have a lot smaller sails than this boat would have raced with, because it's a very aggressive race boat, and so I wanted to be able to chill it down just a little bit. So I just did a Costco and Trader Joe's run. Sorry, I'm not really one to film in a grocery store, as it turns out. Also, it was incredibly stressful and overwhelming for me. Honestly, in planning this entire circumnavigation, provisioning the boat has maybe been the thing that stressed me out the most. And so, while it feels wonderful to more or less have that behind me and have the money spent and the food on the boat, I just want to show you all what it looks like here now. This is what hopefully about 6 months, maybe even 8 months of mostly dry shelf-stable food looks like. It is currently Sunday, and I depart on a week from today, and so I'm going to wait until more of the last minute to grab a whole bunch of fresh fruits, veg, cheese, eggs, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think dry food provisioning is pretty much wrapped up. So now I get to sit here and take the packaging off everything, and try and figure out what the best way to store all this on my boat is. But luckily, I have a little helper for another week. He's not coming on the circumnavigation. Wouldn't be safe for him, and there's some countries that'd be very hard to enter with him, but he's here for now. Well, I spent pretty much all morning organizing the boat, but the wind has just picked up more and more through the day, and I'm not in the most protected of anchorages, and so it just kind of... Sometimes you just have to accept that boat life, you get to a point where you're just like, I just can't do anything more a day. And then, it is late July, and it is bucketing down! This is insane! So I'm still in Washington right now, and it like never rains like this up here. This is like California rain. This is wild. And last year we had like 100 straight days without rain. You know, usually that's like July, August, and part of September, and it's like less than a week from the end of July. Even fishing boats are like racing back in. Like, this is intense. As most any sailor will tell you, channel markers are magical, but did you know that they also contain a pot of gold? So today I'm mostly laying in a hole. Working on... So, I had the boat out of the water in Friday Harbor, sailed to Anacortes when I got here. There's about 20 gallons of salt water in the bilge, which is... I mean, that's a pretty significant leak. I replaced the cockpit scuppers while I was out of the water, and so I figured that had to be what it was. Sure enough, come into the cockpit, take a jerry can, just turn it on, and one of the cockpit drains come down below, and water's just gushing out. So, new hose, 2 hose clamps on each connection. I think we're good now. So now, this is the primary water tank. It needs to get strapped back down. And then since I have everything out of here, I'm going to go ahead and clean the bilge out real thoroughly underneath it. Take a sponge to that, get it super clean so that I don't have a bilge pump clog. Move on to whatever the next project is. I can't even begin to describe how much I'm going to miss this little dude. Every time I sit down and take a break, he just wants to come cuddle. He wants to come hang out, just see what I'm up to. It's gonna be really hard leaving him behind. I just got the dinghy stowed. The floorboards are still out, but the tender itself is stowed, and the water jugs, they all go in the cockpit locker that I'm sitting on, which is the one that I've spent most of today crawled up inside of. It's really a pain to get that thing taken apart and put away. And I really hope I don't have to drag it back out again. Genuinely for quite a long time. If all goes according to plan, it should be like 3 months till I have to take that out again. So I did let it dry real thoroughly. Yeah, so like a lot of people set up and break down their dinghies on the bow of the boat. My bow is so small that my 8-foot dinghy, which is about as small as you can buy, doesn't fit on the bow of my boat. I've seen some 6-footers. Even if I drop down to a 6-footer, it still wouldn't fit with that inner forestay and whatnot. It's really tight up on the bow. Look at this little guy. How cute. So you're the cutest. You gonna miss being a boat kitty baby? It's maybe the hardest part about this entire trip. I mean, like, leaving people is hard, but at least I can text with them. Leaving him is pretty hard. He is going to live with my mom, and I get him back when I'm done, and he's gonna have a very happy life living with her. So, you know, this isn't goodbye, it's see you later. But I'm still gonna miss him. I don't know what else I was updating on. It's just been cleaning and organizing. That's been my whole stay here in Anacortes so far. It's just buying $1,400 worth of food and a few spare parts and blah blah blah, and then just stowing and organizing. But we're getting there. Sorry, I'm having a hard time getting back into the swing of filming, but I figured I guess I should mention this. So yesterday I replaced the cockpit drain hoses under the cockpit because the ones that I had installed just like a few days ago, so it is being very cute, were leaking. They didn't seal well enough, so got new ones, replaced those. That was the last leak in the boat that I was aware of, and so I deep cleaned the bilge. I think I filmed a little bit of that. You probably just saw it like 30 seconds ago and are like, why the f*** are you talking about this? Then I noticed that there was a little bit of water coming into the bilge. And I tasted it, as you do. And it was fresh water. Could not figure out where it was leaking from. And so then this morning, there was more. And so I pulled everything out of the starboard cockpit locker again, and crawled down in there again, and from across the boat on the other side of the boat, which then when I got to pull everything out of the port side cockpit locker, I could see that the freshwater shutoff valve was leaking. It's a ball valve that's only like 2 years old, and so I said to heck with it, and went and got a new one. That's what I'm working on right now. So, yeah, anyhow, putting the barbs back on this, because I'm trying to talk and do this. I keep turning things the wrong way. And that's about all that's new this morning. I went by the marina while I was just on land and tried to find out if there was any chance I could get a slip early. No chance. Shockingly, one of the busiest seaports in the Pacific Northwest in the middle of summer doesn't have much availability. So, staying out here on anchor, which is fine. I think I'd be more productive if I was tied to a dock. New ball valve ready to go. Let's go throw that in. Alright, now I'm back down in the hole on this side of the boat. That's all I do, is spend time in lockers. And here's where the problem is. There's still 35 gallons of water in the primary tank, so I just bunged it. So I'll put this side back on first. I mean, you all know how hose burps go. You just shove that in, put the hose clamp on. Yeah. Ta-da! Reinstalled. Make sure the sink still works. Oh my gosh, the sink still works. The pump still works. The filters still work. It's a plumbing nightmare down here, by the way, if you've never seen. Ah! Oh, your hands are a little dirty. There we go. So I woke up this morning and, obviously, maybe I just got up. I usually don't film right when I first got up, but of course, first thing that we had to do was check the bilge after all this work I've done. I've maybe already peaked, but it's bone dry. Okay. I know there's a puddle of water there, but there's no more water trickling in. Like, there was a wet spot right there yesterday where you could, like, see the water trickling in, and that's gone. So, we're gonna dry up that last little bit of water. That should be it. The other part of the bilge is literally bone dry. I'm super pleased. I'm super happy that I don't have to start my day by crawling in cockpit lockers again and trying to figure out where something's dripping. It means that the fresh water that I put in the freshwater system will stay in the freshwater system, which is very important.